And I think some of the best producers, correct me if I'm wrong, they all play instruments.
No,
Most,
No?
most.
no,
Most.
most in my genre, which is hip hop.
Right.
There's one producer who plays all instruments, and he plays them through a keyboard and digital sounds and stuff like that.
May I
So,
have your attention,
you
please?
know, so
Please be
it just
advised the
depends,
library will close
on the genre,
at
you
5
know,
p.m.
things like
If
that.
you need to print out
Okay.
information, check
Oh,
out
they're
the
saying
I
the
materials,
think
library is
get a
closing.
library card, or
Okay,
call
hold on
for
one
your ride
second.
home. Please do so now.
All right, go ahead. That was the library closing.
We do that.
I would just want to maybe throw in a third corner on this. First and foremost, beware the halo effect. You may be the world's most incredible actor or director or writer and still not be able to ever carry a note or understand enough about musical theory to write three blind lines. You know what I mean? And that's not a value judgment. That's a question of knowing your limitations. You can't do everything. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So the middle ground between where you are and what he was saying is you create collaborative relationships, right? So instead of just pulling out the phone book and going, oh, I need somebody to write a song for me, you do like a George Lucas and John Williams do, where you start to, you have this ongoing collaborative relationship where you're growing together, you understand each other's work and how it meshes. So at least you have some sort of direct artistic creative connection to your work involved there, rather than just going, hey, I need you to write me some Chase music, you know. And sometimes that's all that's necessary. You know what I mean? Not everything has to be a magnum opus. Not everything has to be the world's greatest work of art. And you know what? If you're doing a TV movie with a chase scene in it, you just need some fast music. Go ahead and hire somebody or find some public domain stuff. But if you really want somebody that's engaged in the creative process on the level that you would be if you had the skill, then you want to try to create those relationships and find people around you that you can work with and communicate your vision with and see how they can add to that, enhance it, or what it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's and I'm bad for that too, right? You just I'll do it. Don't worry about it. And now all of a sudden I'm doing everything. I can't act all the roles, run all the cameras, direct everything, write all the music, right? All I mean, I'm only one man. I'm not a deity. I'm not a multiple personality. And so at some point you have to recognize that there's only so many hours in the day, only so many years in your life, and you got to kind of start stripping away stuff and making that decision of, hey, you know what? It would be really awesome if I could learn to play piano so I can write songs for this, but I think I'm just going to have to go find somebody who already knows that.
Yeah, and that's funny. I think that's when multiple personalities might actually come in handy.
Yeah.
You can click them on, click them off.
They came with extra bodies with them. That would be nice,
Yeah. All right.
Be my own band.
Let's talk about two things I want to see if we can get done. Maybe building the mindset muscle. If everyone can talk about maybe just one thing what will help with building someone's like mindset and to help pushing them through the dark days or the times when bills are overdue, the time when you didn't get that 10th audition, the times where you think that you didn't put all of this time, money, sweat into it and it's going nowhere. What is like one thing that they can do like daily or whatever to help build their mindset muscle?
Just be realistic, man. There's no such thing as an overnight success. That is not a thing, period. No matter how much people tell you it is, no matter how much it looks like it from our consumer perspective, anything that pops big has already had a machine behind it to some extent to get it in front of our faces so it can pop, right? So don't get discouraged when you're out there, busking on, in the Renaissance Center, something like that, for 10 years with your, whatever plastic bucket, and nobody's paying attention and nobody's getting to you because you're doing a unique thing and it's a niche thing and somebody's going to have to find that, or maybe you're going to have to put yourself out there. And I'm losing my thread, and I apologize for that. But, yeah, I mean, just at the end of the day, man, you got to show up, and from what I've seen in terms of what makes the difference between, the people who spend a lot of time talking and the people who actually get out there and do it is they make sure and show up. Get there, do everything, take any work you can, offer for any work you can. Don't be afraid to step outside of comfort zones. Don't be afraid to be, civilian number 3 in the background or whatever. If you can get an IMDb credit out of it, don't. Don't turn your nose down at anything. Don't ever think that you're good for anything. And you never know, right? I mean, Harrison Ford got his break playing a walk-on scene as a waiter with no lines. Just because he happened to be on set as a carpenter that day, right?
Right, yeah.
So and again, it kind of spins all back into this whole thing we talk about luck and what there's always going to be that element that's out of your control, but be aware of the things that you can control in your favor, right?
So just
and
keep showing up.
Yeah, keep showing up, man. And it's if I am the acting classes thing is what you were talking about when we had the technical glitch there, and the is it a scam? Isn't it a scam? Okay, it depends on what you think you're paying for, right? If you think you're paying to be turned into a star or to be given a talent you don't have or to be given a skill you can't develop, you're in the wrong business. If you are paying for access, if you are paying for networking, if you are paying for the possibility of being in an environment with other people who are as good or better than you at your craft that you can learn from, okay, then take that. But that's that caveat emptor balance, right? That's
right.
Just be realistic. You're not ever, unless William Morris comes down or somebody from on high and just decides you're the next big thing. You're not going to walk into any place and just pay somebody $50 and be turned into the star of tomorrow. Period. I don't care who you're paying.
All right. What would you say about something that can help build an actor's mindset? What is something maybe they can do daily or?
As far as confidence?
As far as whatever. As far as committing to this whole entertainment world. Like, what would you say, or what can they do to push them through the dark times?
I think one of the most important things is to have an attitude of gratitude. You have to appreciate every opportunity that comes your way, big or small. You cannot turn your nose down to anything, any first-time director, any college student, any high school director. You never know where that break is going to come from. You never know what this opportunity is going to lead to or anything like that. So you always have to be positive, think positive. Directors and producers want to work with positive people. They do not want to work with negative Nancy's and folks like that because they already have enough stress dealing with the production of the film and all the elements that goes in between. They do not want to come on set and deal with somebody with a negative attitude. So the main key for me, I would say, is to always think positive and to always appreciate everything that comes your way, because with that, you're always going to be satisfied with certain things that come your way until you reach a point to where you feel your worth and value is higher than what you're making. Now, if you get to a point to where you get one major role and you decide that you want to, you know that's what you're worth for the rest of your career, or you decide to, to keep going up. If you got a team working behind you and they pushing for you to grow, cool, fine, that's great. More power to the elevation of your career. But if you get that one break and you think you done made it and you superstar, guess what? That film gonna get old the next 2 years, and you gonna be the one talking for 20 years about that old film that you used to do and stuff like that, because nobody wanted to work with you anymore because your attitude was difficult. You didn't appreciate what other directors and other producers was trying to bring to you. So you know what I mean. So it's just really a point of your mindset. And knowing that there's going to be some dark times, there's going to be some roads that you don't want to take, there's going to be some people you don't want to work with, but you got to do all that grind work to get to where you want to go. But the main key is to appreciate every little thing. I don't care what it is. It could be a hot dog commercial. Appreciate it.
I think for me, it's finding out what scares me most. And I think what scares me most is to reach a certain age and say, well, I wish I would have. I think that scares me more so than I did everything I knew how, and that's was my result was YouTube videos. Hey, no followers. Hey, no. We're not gonna say that, but that I always think about that. And then I was talking to someone in my life, and he said that his professor had his students write their obituary. And it's like, shoot, dang. Like, if I actually had to sit down and write my obituary and I did nothing great, and it's like the ones that passed before me, and that was it, that scares me. And I think about my life. If you, like, we're in Michigan, factory town, we're mostly factory people. We have a same routine. We know it's traffic 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. We know get a good job, fingers crossed we can retire. So we know how that life pays out because our family lives that life. But what if I do something different than a factory job? I will ultimately live a different life, but maybe even a more fulfilled life. And Denzel Washington has a speech, and he talks about, the graveyard is filled with dreamers, people who never got through. And he's like, imagine if you're, at your deathbed, you're visited by all the ghosts of the things you didn't do. And I'm like, my room would be packed. I got like 4 books I didn't write. I got like 6 movies. I got like 20 songs. And that's just in my career. Like, forget everything else, relationships that you should have rebuilt. Like, and that's what scares me, and I think that's what pushes me through the dark times. And to enter in this world, like you mentioned earlier when I was talking to you on the phone, like, okay, like actors and entertainers, yeah, we are a little bit nutty. We are kind of crazy because we live outside the world. Like, we don't have a day job. You talk about learning on your own instead of the traditional pay someone college, or tech school. That's crazy. It's crazy to uproot and move out to California and think you're going to be the next so-and-so. The only thing that's not crazy is living inside the box. All right. Now, with the next 10 minutes, is there anything else, we're going to take the next maybe 2 minutes to elaborate on anything that you think tips for actors or in the industry, or kind of what to avoid, or any crazy situations that happen? Anything else you want to talk about?
That box
Okay,
that you
go
just
ahead.
mentioned. There should never be a box. You should always, your creativity should be infinite. It should have no boundaries. Your effort should be boundaryless. It's like most people get caught up in this way of doing things. It's like everybody wants to go this way and the flow of traffic is flowing that way, but nobody decides to want to go against traffic or against the grain. I'm a person. I go against the grain. I'm not a traditional person. I'm an outside thinker. I'm going to figure out. I'm gonna ask the questions: why are we doing this way? Is this the only way to do it? Can we do this differently? Is there some way to be more efficient? Is there some way to get there faster? Is there some way to do this in a way that that'll benefit me more in the long run than the way that I'm doing it, the way everybody else is doing it? So I think like that. I don't think with a box. I think outside the box. I'm gonna be the one wearing the crazy colors and stuff to walk in the door. I'm gonna be the one with the jury walking in the door of the corporate meeting. I don't care. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be, I'm going to express what's inside of me to the world, and it's up for the world to relate to it or not. So you have to, as a creative person, you got to get a world what only you can give, and let them deal with it. You know what I mean?